Shalom Israel, this is Judah J. Unless you're from a different planet, you know that there's an agenda that's being put forth towards blacks or the Israelites. Because first they're trying to say that we are the champions of Corona. We are the ones that are the most susceptible to catch Corona. And now which is going to put fear in people's hearts for black people once they push this Corona thing back in the wintertime and in the fall, because it's all assisted by the cold seasons and the flus. So basically you just put any type of stamp on any disease you have out there or virus and say it's Corona. But it's going to come back in a huge way in the fall time and in the winter. But anyway, stay tuned. But they're trying to put that moniker on anybody and say they're the ones that are the most susceptible for something that's negative and it's bad. You're going to have other people look at them and be leery and not want to be around them, right? And so if you put that on black people, first it came from China, and these people are the ones that first had this issue. But now all of a sudden black people, my people, the Israelites, of course, just like always, we're the champions of the bad stuff. So now all of a sudden, okay, it's summertime, so they can't fake people. They can't cause people to believe that their little coronavirus is something that's real. And so what they're gonna do now is say, okay, we need a new agenda. So now the new agenda is we'll do a false flag agenda against this man, George Floyd, right? Now, I made a video saying I wasn't even sure that the man even died, because now, and I told you guys, make sure that we get some information on his background, who he is, where he came from, who he's affiliated with, because you can't take everything face value, and we have to live using our minds and not just take everything that somebody messages somebody gives us, because that's just not being responsible, and that's also putting yourself and others in danger, because you just can't walk out into the world just believing everything somebody says. It can hurt you, right? And so now we're figuring out that this guy was affiliated with Masons, with secret society members, those of course that serve Satan, right? That are not for you. People that are against the Most High Yah, against his son Yahushua HaMashiach, your savior. They, of course, you guys have seen many YouTube videos on here talking about the Illuminati and all the secret societies and all these Masons and how they hate the world, and they got this this agenda to basically destroy us, destroy the population, lead people to believe in Luciferianism and all this stuff by chaos and order out of chaos and all that stuff. So we already know about that. So he was affiliated with people that did that. Now, it hasn't come out yet. I'm not going to say anything about, I know he was actually a Mason and all that stuff, but there's some telling signs about this guy that just it's not right. He has little tattoos on his body that associates him to have an affiliation with those organizations. He has friendships with suspect people like Stephen Jackson, which are known to be Masons. So when I told you before in that video that this was a false flag, at first, and we are ever learning. We're ever learning. And a wise man takes in information, and he's not so rigid in his mind or so stuck in his convictions, right? That he is not going to allow there to be anything that could actually move him. Like the only thing that I can't be moved on is my faith in the Most High Yah and the trust in Yahushua HaMashiach. But I know that as these times are, as we live in this world, that we're learning more. We're not perfected. We know in part. So we're always learning. So it's not going to just be where we have all the knowledge, we have all the information, and you can't ever change, or not change, but just refine your stance. So I'm under the belief still that it's a false flag that happened, that George Floyd, now I'm believing because of all the information, and something in my spirit was telling me that there was a false flag before. And I had no information knowing anything about his background. I just said because of the way the things looked, the way of the knee placement on his neck, the knee placement on not his neck, but right under his ear. The knee placement, it wasn't by his windpipe. So it will be difficult I would say that it wouldn't be something that's possible for him to suffocate from. They said he died from asphyxia. I've later learned that when you push down right here on this area, right underneath the right ear, that can actually cause you to pass out. It can actually cause you to lose consciousness. And so once again, that can also support the idea, or maybe the idea that I had, that maybe this was a false. Of course, I know it's a false flag, but that he did not die. And when I said he did not die, meaning dying there, dying in that position, dying in that spot. Now, first of all, to tell you the honest truth, I'm not going to even try to make this sound even better. I thought he based off of what I received in my spirit, just by looking at everything and observing everything, my experience as a targeted individual, knowing that things are not as they seem. These wicked people they have connections with the spiritual realm. They have connections with people all around the world. It says when the wicked spring forth as the grass, is that they shall be destroyed. The whole world completely, mostly, is tainted by Satan's spirit, which means, like the Matrix, the spirits can jump inside their bodies whenever they want, because they don't have a connection with the Most High Yah and his son Yahushua Mashiach. So basically that makes you a conduit, or a conduit, which is a vessel that the spirit of Satan can just jump in and possess. That is the crux behind the target individual phenomenon, is that these spirits can jump inside of people, even if they don't have any affiliation with their, as far as their knowledge and their understanding of like spiritual things. Let's say they just don't believe in any God. Let's just say they're just living their life like a normal person. They just don't have any affiliation with the spiritual realm. But because they don't have a connection with the Most High Yah and have trusted and have a connection with the blood of Christ, they are willingly now, unwillingly maybe, but they are susceptible to having Satan's spirit come in them. If you don't serve the Most High Yah, if that's not your savior, then by default, you are a child of Satan. You hear what I said? By default, you are a child of Satan. Because only the blood of Christ, only the faith in Christ, that he came and died for us, is what would save you, is what will allow you to have that relationship and that connection, that tie to him, that will preserve you from the wickedness that's going on in this world. That's the only thing that can preserve you. So these people, they have his spirit. So when I'm being a targeted individual, I have gone through many things that most people in the world have not gone through. And this is not to tote a horn, but it's the truth. I've seen things that most people haven't seen. Spiritual realm stuff. I've seen people operate in certain manners, how they change out of nowhere, and it doesn't make any sense. There's no rationality for why they've changed. It's just they just change, and it's just my presence. In the Bible, it says that you shall be hated because of my namesake. So because of Christ, because of the Most High Yah's namesake, his son, we are going to be hated because of our affiliation with him, and it has nothing to do with who we are, most likely. Nothing to do with who you are. It has something to do with who your father is, who my father is. So therefore, what I'm saying, to get back to this point, you got to understand that everything in this world is a test now. You are being tested to see what side you will be on. This is an agenda. If you can't see that this is whole thing, coronavirus, the thing with George Floyd, which I believe honestly, my purposeful belief is that he was a Mason, and that this has I don't know, I believe that he did not die at that time at the car. He might have died later when they took him in, because those people are cutthroat. They don't care about as long as they meet their agenda, even their own people die. Even their own people will be sacrificed. So maybe his family is good now, and they have the finances that they need because of what this man decided to allow them to do to him. Who knows? Who knows? But the thing is, and also, the family was acting kind of weird when they were on television. His girlfriend saying that she believes that George would want there to be mercy and love and forgiveness towards the cops and all this stuff. Now, I'm not somebody that's advocating any evil towards anybody, but does that seem like a viewpoint somebody would have of somebody that killed them and destroyed them? Now, it just doesn't make any sense. Some people say that Kobe Bryant knew that he was going to die before he even died. And he knew it was a ritual because he's the Mamba. And so I heard that somebody, through the channels online and all this, that he knew that he was not going to be around once the corona thing hit. So once the coronavirus hit, he knew he wasn't going to be around anyway. So he was willingly sacrificing himself to that satanic spirit. Go ahead and do some research on that whole Mamba spirit thing that Kobe was involved with. So anyways, if George Floyd was a part of these secret societies, a Mason, one of the Boule or something like that, he could have willingly sacrificed himself, or for his elevation in the spiritual realm with his father Satan. Maybe that he was. These people, I'm telling you, that spirit's in the world. You cannot, that's why my first video was telling you got to use your mind and think. You can't be in this box. You can't be in their boxes they create for you. You cannot take the messages that they give you and say this is the gospel. You have to think. You have to operate by using common sense, observing the stuff around you, being able to rationalize and say this is out of place. This don't make sense. But then you have to be guided by the spirit of the Most High Yah. You have to be guided by a spirit or nothing matters. You will not get the clear understanding of what things are, how you should move, how you should operate in this world. You'll always be on the outside looking in and just making up stuff out of your mind. So it comes if, you know, more is coming out about this guy, but he's revealed that he has affiliation with possibly with these people. So anything could have happened. They could have killed him at the hospital or wherever he was at. I never said that I 100% said that he was not dead. I just told you that there was an agenda, a false flag, and it is a false flag. All this was put together, and here's the reason why. The children of Israel, and I'm going to tell you this, and this seems basic, the children of Israel were waking up. They're waking up to who they are. The spirit, nothing's been the same since that 400 years ended last year in August 2019. Ever since that time, this world has been turned upside down, one catastrophe after the next. The satanic elite, those leaders that are in power, they know that the children of Israel are waking up. They've always known who we are. There's selected people in the world that know exactly who we are as the children of Israel, the Negro, scattered to the four corners of the earth, knowing we're waking up to who we are. Once the fig tree begins to ripen, once the dry bones shall awaken, shall rise. They were asleep. They were dead in the street, and all of the nations saw the children of Israel dead in the street, meaning they didn't know who we didn't know who we were, destitute, denied of knowledge, lack of knowledge, have no idea who we are as being the children of the Most High Yah. So we lived underneath the stature and the manner and we lived underneath the moral and the spiritual foundation that we had been always created to live under, or to be. The people who we were, we denied ourselves. We didn't care about who we was as a people. All we thought we were supposed to be is basketball players, pimps and pushers and hustlers, and not all of us, of course. If you think that Judah J just say all of us thought that, no, come on, that's silly season. But that's the narrative they wanted to paint for us, and a lot of us believed it. I've done things in my life to take on some of the lies and it filtered in my mind, and I lived out some of those things in my life myself. So now the Most High Yah blessed me to get away from these things. But our people were taught these things that we're just deplorable beneath, knowing the whole time they knew it was all a lie. They knew how powerful we were, how powerful our God is, but they wanted power. And so they did everything to manipulate us and to lie to us and deceive us, and the whole world was in on it. The whole world was in on it. You go ahead and read Psalms 83. They came together and they knew who the children of Israel were, but they didn't want to serve the law, statutes, and commandments. They didn't want to obey the law, statutes, and commandments. They did not want to serve the children of Yasharah. They didn't want to be under the auspice or under the authority of these black people. They didn't want to be under the authority of these black people. So they decided to come together as a world, completely come together and bond together in union and unite with one another to say, we're gonna destroy these people, we're gonna make them not know what their heritage is. We're gonna take it all away from them, because if they know, and if they go and they know who they are and they cry out to their God, then their God will come and bring down the vengeance on us, because we are not them. They are the Most High Yah's inheritance, the God of all creation. These people, they are his inheritance. The 70 nations, he gave them other gods. The only one that received him, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as their God, are the children of Israel, the Negro, scattered to the four corners of the earth. Now, this is not a racist message. This is the truth. The truth can sound racist, can it? The Most High Yah don't love all people. He already said that, but you got to read the word. And in order to know these things, you have to read his word. Doesn't mean that people are not going to be saved that come from other nations, because it says that though the Gentiles that shall be saved shall cling to Jacob, but you shall accept his power. You shall accept this black power, Yahushua HaMashiach, the real Christ, which some of you call Jesus, and I'm not getting in on that, because I believe in spirit and truth. And the Most High Yah will wake people up to who his name and all that. Listen, it's like this spirit and truth. He sees it's time out for this silly season. He sees our hearts, he sees our minds. Now, he knows your heart if you have been someone that's trusted in the power of the Bible. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and his son, the Christ. And you might have the interpretation of the name wrong, and you may not have the right syllable here, or you might have the wrong letter there. He sees your heart. he shall consecrate our heart. That's how you can see and recognize who has that connection with him. It's their walk. He said, how are you going to say you love him and you don't obey him? They shall be known by their fruit. You know people that are serving the Most High Yah, and you know those who are not. So those people that are out there looting and stuff, you have to understand, are those actions, you have to ask yourself, are those actions of the Most High? Did he tell people to steal? Regardless of how mad you are about something, no matter how difficult things are, did he tell you to steal? He didn't tell you to steal. He didn't tell you to steal. That goes against the Most High Yah and his commandments. So you actually think that those people have a leg to stand on? And then a lot of these liars are using the death of George Floyd, or the possible death of George Floyd, to say that that's their reason why they're out there. They're tired. They're sick of it. Yeah, we're all tired and sick of the injustice. But does that mean that you have to live beneath the standards of the Most High to prove a point? Does that say now that that justifies your actions, where you can go out there, hurt people, destroy buildings, go out there and live like complete animals? Does that look like your God? If any of you guys, I'm talking about those that say they have a relationship with the Most High Yah, or some of you guys that will still say Jesus, most of you that will still say Jesus, his son. Right? Are you going to say you have affiliation with the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the one that came and died for us, living like that? People are deceived. There's a way that seems right to man, but in the end is death. That is the ways that lead to death, because these people now, they're going to bring judgment on those people that are walking in that fashion. And check this out. Here's the caveat. The Most High Yah is going to let it happen, because he's separating the wheat from the tares. The 2/3 of Israel, he says the judgment shall come to Jacob first, shall come to Israel first. So we are receiving our judgment, seeing our people dying, even regardless of how it happened and if what he was affiliated with. They allowed us to see. And I heard somebody else on the YouTube say it was kind of like smut porn, allowing somebody to see something over and over again, something as egregious and horrible as that over and over again. What do you think that's going to cause people to do? Seeing your brethren die in that fashion, if he died like that. Seeing someone die like that. Seeing anyone die like that. That's horrible. And so they wanted us to see that over and over and over. And they just recently start taking it down. Now they just show the video before he was killed and what he was doing. But to see something, let us see that right there screams that agenda to me. Because that's not something that they would normally do. To cause people to see somebody being killed in that manner over and over. Kids watching on their television. Kids watching television. People turn on their television out of nowhere, seeing some man get killed like that over and over again. You mean to tell me that you think that that's a normal, natural thing that they would normally do? No. See, that's why I told you have to think. Things aren't lining up. Things don't make sense no more. So if it doesn't make sense anymore, you have to use your brain. Why is this allowed to happen? So, it's allowed to happen because right now is Jacob's trouble, and it shall be for a while, till the Christ comes back. They're coming against us in every fashion. Corona, oh yeah, that started with the Chinese, now it's the black people. Okay, the George Lucas thing. They killed this man. They killed this man, or supposedly killed this man, or it looks like they killed him. And now who knows if he survived and he was just passed out, and then they took him somewhere else and killed him, or sent him to some island so he can go away and he fulfilled the agenda. Who knows? But do you believe that that's not possible with the people that we deal with these wicked men? That's why not all people gonna get it, but it's okay. You can stay in the box, you can stay in your bubble, you can think that everything, these people love you, you can think that these things in the world just happen and there's good people and there's bad people, yeah. But all in all, no one's just really out to hurt you. No one's really just out to harm you. If they do something wrong to you, it's just because they made an honest mistake. There's people that are out there to get you, to kill you, to destroy you. And that's what they do, waking up every day, thinking about how they can destroy you, because they follow the ways of their father, which is only here to kill, steal, and destroy. They follow the manner of their father. This is all about the Most High Yah and Satan. The whole thing now. This is the cover is being pulled off of the world. The Bible was true. It's always been about the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and their son. And power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and Satan. It was about the war that was going on with them, amongst them. Who was going to follow the Most High Yah? Who was going to follow Satan? Do you understand that that's what this whole thing was about from the very beginning? Now people are choosing sides. So everything is now being orchestrated to go against black people. Black people did this, black people did that, to cause the world to revolt against black people. They're gonna look at their world and say, we were just able to get back outside. They took off the lockdown from the corona thing. Now this thing happens. Who's associated with? The black people. Now they're putting curfews and stuff, and we can't go outside. We can't live like we always lived. And who you gonna think they're gonna associate that with? Black people. Everything's gonna be black, black, black. But guess what in the end? God's and the Most High Yah is in control of it. So even though we see these people looting, even though we see these people doing these evil things out here, even though we see all this madness that makes no sense at all, and you say the world is just being destroyed and all that, it has to be destroyed. And so the Most High Yah can have his son, Yahushua Mashiach's kingdom set up in this earth. Everything is going as Bible prophecy said it would. So even though things make absolutely no sense, the Most High Yah is in control of it all. So even though it doesn't make, a lot of it doesn't make sense to me. Most of it don't make sense to me. Why are these people out here doing this stuff when they're destroying their own places and it's all this uprising, upheaval? But then you look at the big picture. The Most High Yah is bringing judgment to the world. So you know it has to happen. So what our job is to do is to sit back. He says that the people that don't believe in him, this is paraphrasing, they'll look at the things happening in the heavens. They'll look at the things happening in the world and be just completely confounded by it and just scared and terrified. We just put our trust and our eyes on leave it on the Most High Yah. And trust in the Most High Yah and his son Yahushua Mashiach. He says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. He says, I will preserve you from all evil forevermore. He says, fear not, for I am with you. I am with you. That's what we do. Watch it happen. Stay close to the Most High Yah, love him, serve him in spirit and truth, and watch it all happen. And then watch and look up, because your redemption draws near. Shalom.